You've been through this drill a few times. What's the challenge of getting ready for this offense? And is it different? Because it seemed like you've had a week and a half or 2 weeks in the past. Is it different to do it?
Yeah, in the past we've had maybe some extra opportunities. We've also played them a couple of years ago, and it was a short week too. So, hopefully the one thing we have is some experience a little bit from guys that played last year in this game. That's always helpful. But it's still a tremendous challenge. I mean, Paul and they do a great job and understand their scheme, and he's seen so many ways that people try to defend it, and he's put a couple new wrinkles in this year, and that's made us really spend a little bit of extra time in our prep and making sure we're fitting up right and all those type of things, and that's part of the battle with this. Besides then being physical, besides making sure you're sound in your option principles as far as your assignments and those type of things. And then I think the biggest challenge besides that is getting your scout team to simulate the speed of the offense and the physicality of the offense. And today we tried to make it a middle drill for 60 minutes today. And that's the only way you can prepare for this. If not, you're going to be down 14-0 like we were last year, or like we've been some other years. And I know this, not to put any pressure on the offense. I've said this. You guys have heard me say this. That sometimes the best defense against this offense is our offense. If we can put points on the board and make them have to play catch up a little bit, kind of like what North Carolina did last week, because they rushed for 350 yards against North Carolina last week. The quarterback is not just a dynamic player, he's a great player. And he's one of the elite athletes in this league. He's made some runs and some throws that are just, he makes them go. And I think where they've improved, obviously he's been a guy, but I think they're a little better up front. And then I think their fullbacks, they're what they call their B-backs, are a little more explosive than what they maybe had the last 2 years. So when you get the quarterback and that guy along with their offensive line, which is improved, and that's a group that can be tough to handle.
But what is the challenge of getting ready for what they do?
You just get last year's paper out, or
use those coaches.
Obviously, it's totally different. And just in 3 days, the physicality, how physical the game will be. And then just the speed of the game. I can remember, just every time. The first series. You've been running it all week, and the first series, you're like, how fast it is. You know what I mean? You leak up the field a little bit, or you're not flattening out, the ball gets out the gate on you. They just run it so precise, and they counter with what you're doing. And we've been, Coach has been there, his 9th year. I think we've been working at this for 5 or 6 years on trying to develop a package. So they got good players. They're better on the offensive line this year. What I see, they've played a lot of guys. They've been a little maybe dinged up or whatever, and I think that probably comes a little bit with 9th game of the year, 10th game of the year, and the offense that they run. It's so physical but they have some guys that have really bought in and playing really, really hard up front. And then coupled with the quarterback. The quarterback's fantastic. He makes them go, no doubt.
What Coach was talking about, how because of Georgia Tech's offense, how they possess the ball, that it puts more pressure on you guys to score when you have your chances. How does that affect this game and the game plan and everything?
I don't think it affects the game plan as much as we just got to focus and concentrate on every possession that we get, because it is going to be limited. We're not going to get as much as we get in a regular game. So we do have to focus and concentrate more on our assignments and execute at a high level.
I did the math, and you guys get between 15 and 16 possessions a game offensively this year. Against Georgia Tech, you guys get 11 over the last 5 or 6 years. Is it hard to get in a rhythm when you're out there less?
For one, I've never played Georgia Tech, so I really don't know. I haven't played a team that holds the ball that long. So this is going to be my first time, but I'm pretty sure it's not a good feeling. I mean, but like I said, you still have to go execute. You still have to go do your assignments regardless if you're on the field for 2 seconds or 20 minutes. So on sideline, you still got to stay warm, stay in the game. Don't let us not be in the game get us out our game. So stuff like that, I'll definitely be talking on the sideline, and the leaders will be talking on the sideline, making sure we all in it.
Bud would prefer that you do the 20 minutes, not the 2 seconds.
Most likely, that's what he definitely would want.
You had a couple runs the other day where it looked like you sort of met by a defender, stayed up, and then your offensive line came up and just pushed you forward. What is sort of your thought process when you get stood up like that? You're like, the cavalry's coming, it's going to push me forward if I can just keep my feet here?
No, I really don't know what I was thinking in that moment in time. Really try to get down, to be honest. But, you know, those guys, I don't know, they find something about me that they like, that they work harder. So when they see me in a stand up, well, you would want to call it stand up, they just try to find a way to help me get yards for the team. So that's what I would say about that. I don't know what to say about that.
Team voting thing? Did you vote? Did you absentee, or do you not bother with that? No, I just didn't vote. Coach was talking about how we focus on Georgia Tech, their offense, triple option, and he was saying how because they possess the football, it puts pressure on you guys. Do you feel that, understand that? How does that play into this game?
Right. He gave us the situation from the Navy-Notre Dame game, and Notre Dame had 6 possessions, and on 5 of them they scored, and they still lost. So that's just shows how important that each possession is, and how we have to value the ball and take care of it. And when we get it, we have to make sure we put points on the board.
Some people might think that means be more aggressive. Does it mean be more aggressive, or is it just about not making mistakes?
We think it's just about being efficient. You know, whether that's running the ball, throwing the ball, taking shots, or anything like that. It's just about being efficient in what we're doing.
You're now 4 catches away from breaking the record, which I'm sure you can't wait to not have to talk about again once you break it. But is it? That's kind of the point. Is it get to be a little bit bothersome when people bring it up? Because I'm sure we're not the only ones bringing it up. I'm sure your mom brought it up, or somebody in your family, or somebody. Is it almost a? I know it's a great honor and all that, but is there a little bit of you? It's like, geez, please just come and go.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, like you said, a lot of people ask about, if I go out to eat or something, like my waiter might say something, hey man, you gonna break that record Saturday? Something like that. But yeah, I think once it'll be over, then it'll be fine. But my focus is just trying to go win. To be completely honest, if the record comes, then it comes. If not, then.
Does it become any harder at all to just focus on catching balls when people are kind of running all the time?
I think in the heat of the game, I'm not really worried about like catch this record right here, anything like that. I'm just trying to make the play to help my team.
Is this one worse or different than? I remember you said the same thing about the touchdown record. You were like, all right, it's kind of time. Is one been worse than the other?
About the same.
Yeah. Same number of waiters.
Does your mom bring it up all the time? Do you say, "Mom, please"?
Yeah,
chill.
she'll exaggerate a little bit with her good luck texts and her expectations of what she wants from the journey. I'm like, all right, Mom, come on now, let's be a little realistic. But,
what does she say? Like every text is like, I expect 15
I
catches
need
this week.
250 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'm like, okay, I'll see what I can do.
She goes to pretty much every game, right? Are you impressed that that's a long ways to travel.
I think that's something that I've learned not to take for granted, because growing up, she was at every game, and now seeing how much she has to travel, and being around some of my other teammates and seeing how their parents don't come to every game as much as that, it makes me appreciate it just that much more.
Would it take a hurricane for her not to go to that one?
Probably, and that was the only one that she missed, the one in North Carolina, and she was on the road coming, and they turned her around, so that was the only way that stopped her from being at the game.
She was like halfway up 95, right?
Yep.
Your brother said the road was closed, right? So she couldn't.
So she physically couldn't.
Is that extra motivation to get to play in an ACC title game in Florida? Does that work out kind of well for?
That would be nice. It would, but we have to take care of business at home this week, and every game is a championship game from now on. And Coach Fuente and the seniors have done a great job of preaching that, and we know that we're going to get everyone's best shot because we're at the top of our division. So every game is a championship game for us. We're going to get everyone's best, and we have a target on our back, so we have to be ready to play.